Peak 30 is the newest iteration of the prolific energetic arms design that is known to be one of the best cans on the market. Instead of the original marriaging alloy used in the VOX series, the Peak 30 is constructed of stainless steel. This brings the cannon slightly lighter than the venerable VOX. The Peak 30 uses a 5-baffle variable chamber design that takes advantage of the laser welded baffle concept to maximize internal volume. Both end caps are removable, but I would like to point out that they have improved their direct thread mounts by including some wrench flats, as well as some space to push the cannon body slightly forward of the shoulder. This should give you a little bit more space to get wrenches and tools in there, but that said, you can use whatever industry standard mounts you want. One of the forward-thinking features that is retained from the VOX is the serialized information is printed on a band that is swaged to the body. This is so that if you do have a catastrophic failure, warranty repairs will be less of a hassle. Just like the VOX, a vice block has been included that allows the end user to clap the Peak 30 into a vice without being damaged. And lastly, the included wrench has been redesigned to work with Peak 30 features. I have found a spot on the range that I believe will protect the camera from the wind. It only works to about right here. We're gonna do our gassing test now. You guys have seen this before, so I don't need to go over it a whole bunch of times, but we're gonna set the rifle speed gas control all the way down to setting 1. And we're gonna shoot it unsuppressed, and we're gonna put the Peak 30 on there and see where the gun starts to operate. Remember, we need 3 rounds of operation for it to be good. It is pretty cold today, so we may have to use higher settings. Running on setting 7 today. This thing is set up for industry standard mounts. So what we have here is a 5.56 mount that I've put into the back of it here. And sorry for the jump cut because, well, you know, YouTube hates me. I can't show you it being installed. Only 2. All right, we're gonna call it good at setting 3. A can either be a flow-through device or it can suppress your gun. They are inversely proportional. They directly compete with each other. It is either flowing through or suppressing the gun because the activity of the suppressor is to slow the gas, capture the gas, cool it down, and release it slowly. If it is allowing it to flow through the can, it is not releasing it slowly. So the VOX is what I would classify as a high gas load device. It gives a fair amount of load back to the gun. This can, the Peak 30, at setting 3, I would say, yeah, that's pretty good. It's about average for what you would expect out of a 30 caliber suppressor. Good morning, you dregs. You can tell that it's morning because I'm squinting, but also we're on this side because if we were filming from that side, then you guys would just see a sun. accuracy today. If you haven't seen one of these before, then go back and watch the other one so you know exactly what we're looking for. 6.5 Creedmoor, 129 grain SST. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to have to go to the calipers to determine, which one of these is bigger. It's pretty close, and part of it might have been my morning shooting today. I had 2 cups of coffee, but it is what it is. But I want to say that the important thing is that we do have some point of impact shift. I was aiming at the bottom of the A on the right leg for the unsuppressed group, and for the suppressed group, I was aiming at the bottom left of the corner of the B. So we have some vertical and lateral shift in impact on this particular suppressor. While this PowerTech Warrior does not add to your overall legal length, it's just as badass as a suppressor or short barrel rifle. So if you want to know more about brands like PowerTech that we stand behind, check out the Linktree account in the description box down below, or our full affiliates page where you can get discounts from brands that we trust. All right, folks, it is quite dark out here tonight, but we have a perfectly clear sky. There is not a single cloud in that sky. And this is another one of those tests that we're going to be using the energetic VOX as a comparison unit, because again, the VOX was one of the best performing suppressors at night from our previous testing. First round. Peak 30. First round. I would say that the night performance of the Peak 30 is roughly equivalent to that of the VOX, and I think that most of you will agree with me. The one thing I do want to make sure that I say is that the VOX has the ability to integrate a wipe, and for this test, the wipe was removed. To be completely frank, I have not used the wipe in the VOX since the initial review just to test it. And I think that sentiment is echoed by the manufacturer because, the Peak 30 eliminates that feature. Now we're going to move on to the recoil reduction test, and again, we're going to be using the VOX as a side-by-side. Again, I would say that the performance as far as recoil reduction is concerned, the Peak 30 and the VOX are almost identical. However, I would say that the Peak 30 is slightly lighter than the VOX, so what we ended up with is a 24 to 25% reduction of recoil. Now, I do also want to start from here on out referring to that number as it relates to the average. So the average recoil reduction that we've gotten across all 30 caliber cans that we've tested is 15%. So a 25% reduction is pretty good as it relates to the average. Well, that about wraps it up for our analysis of the Peak 30. And really, I would say that this is a more refined version of the VOX in a couple different ways. It's lighter, it's easier to take apart, and ultimately it comes in at more cost effective. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. Special thanks to our patrons on Patreon and Subscribestar, as well as our channel members here at YouTube that help keep the lights on.